Hey everyone, what's up? It's Joe once again from the Joe Lifestyle. And this is Little Remy. I've been slowly learning about money lately and hearing a lot about inflation these days. And governments are throwing out numbers like 6% or 7% inflation. That's right, buddy. Obviously, if you're buying a car or paying for gas, even buying a used car or paying rent or buying a house, inflation's a lot more than that. As far as I can tell, inflation is driven by money printing, and apparently central banks all over the world are printing money like crazy these days. The whole point there, of course, is that the more abundant something is, the less valuable it is. And so the more money you print, the less buying power it has. And so there are reports out there, like this one here for example, that states that 80% of all US dollars in existence were printed in the last 22 months, from 4 trillion in January 2020 to 20 trillion in October 2021. That's ridiculous. I mean, who prints trillions and trillions of dollars just out of thin air? I'll get back to the inflation of the US dollar in just a little bit. But for me to further understand how inflation actually works, we should probably look at how other currencies have inflated against the US dollar. And so here we have a chart of the US dollar to the Argentinian peso. And even way back in September of 2015, one US dollar equaled about 10 Argentinian pesos. That's right, buddy. So basically, you would need about 10 pesos to buy one US dollar. And since 2015, you can see that the peso has just steadily inflated. To today, you would need about 104 Argentinian pesos to buy just one US dollar. Yeah, you can see here that the buying power of the peso has diminished significantly from 2015. All they've done is just steadily printed more and more pesos. And here we have a chart of the US dollar to the Iranian rial. And back in January of 2013, well, you would need about 12 or 13 reals to buy just one US dollar. And then they just printed a whole bunch in September of 2013, and then they just steadily printed more and more and more. And today, you would need 42,000 reals to buy one US dollar. That's ridiculous as well. And then here is a chart of the US dollar against the Venezuelan bolivar. And just as recently as February 2021, all you needed was 10 bolivars, 9.98 bolivars, to buy just one US dollar. But then they printed an unimaginable amount of bolivars. I mean, look at it. It went from 1 USD equaling 10 bolivars to 1 USD equaling about 420 billion. So you would need 420 billion bolivars to buy just one US dollar. Imagine you're this responsible Venezuelan citizen and you make a good living and you support your family, and then your government and your central bank comes along and decide it's a good idea to print unimaginable amounts of money. It was so bad that the government, I guess they just scrapped the bolivar here in October of last year. I mean, at the recording of this video, it's February 2022. Last year in October, they just scrapped the bolivar. They got rid of 6 zeros. It went from one US dollar equaling 420 billion bolivars to 400,000, maybe 425,000 bolivars. But that's still ridiculous. I mean, you go from February of 2021 to needing just 10 bolivars to buy one US dollar to now needing 400,000. That is just completely ridiculous. But this is a great chart because it shows just how easily the governments and central banks can manipulate your fiat currency. It's completely out of the hands of the average citizen. So you might be wondering, why am I talking about other people's currencies? And you're wondering, well, who cares? Well, the USD is the world's reserve currency. Who cares how much they print? And so you might be wondering, well, what's the US dollar inflating against? Well, let's have a look at Bitcoin. And here's a chart of Bitcoin versus the US dollar. And not too long ago, back in 2018, you can see here that one Bitcoin equaled approximately 20,000 US dollars. And then it dumped a little bit in maybe 2019, went down to about 3,800 USD. But then you can see here that the US dollar steadily inflated against Bitcoin. It reached an all-time high of about 67,000 just recently, and then it dropped back down to 40,000. But either way, you can see just how much the US dollar is inflating against Bitcoin. The US dollar is inflating against Bitcoin because Bitcoin is deflationary. There's only a certain amount of Bitcoin out there, and you can't just magically mint more Bitcoin because it's encrypted. And you can't screw with it the way governments screw with their own currencies. For example, the way the US has printed $20 trillion in just these past 2 years. There are people out there who say that Bitcoin will one day reach 1 million, maybe even 2 million in about 10, 15, 20 years. But if you look back at these other currencies, way back in 2015, the Argentinian citizen, the smart thing to have done back then, the preventative thing to have done back in 2015 would have been to transfer all his pesos into the US dollar as a hedge against the inflation of his own peso. Because today, that Argentinian peso doesn't have too much buying power. Same thing with the Iranian real. Back in 2013, the preventative thing to have done would have been to transfer all of your reals into the US dollar as a hedge against the inflation of the real. Because today, just like the peso, its buying power has been significantly diminished. You might have even read some articles about how the Venezuelan bolivar was littering the streets of Venezuela because it was worthless. It wasn't worth bending over to pick up because there was just so much of it. And you read this stuff and you wonder, well, what's the preventative thing to do today? I mean, I look at this guy and I wonder that all the time. But not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm only sharing with you what other, more experienced, far wealthier people have shared on the interweb. Talking about the future, I guess this guy's the future. So, you might as well be updated with another Remy video. You have a nice nap? You out of it? You're totally out of it. You like holding on to your toes now? I guess pretty soon you'll be trying to stick them in your mouth, huh? That's alright though. Hey, look over here. Yeah. Yeah. The head's not so heavy anymore, is it? Oh, you're chewing on stuff? Yeah, that's better than chewing on your hands, isn't it? That's what that's for. But you're a big dinosaur, see? Are you chewing on your gums? Oh yeah. Maybe you're teething. Yeah, Mom's not gonna like that. That was the poopies. Oh, you're still poopies. That's the noise you make. Did you just wake up? Ooh. Yeah, okay, I'll get you. Once again, thanks for watching. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.